Al topics from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. I got to watch the movie last night. Congratulations on a very funny movie about death. But during last night, Dylan, during the Q&A, you said the movie was apolitical. I wonder if that was a conscious decision, or like what themes or messages do you think the film has overall?
I do think it's a conscious decision. Our two writer-directors, Luke Spencer Roberts and Justin Matthews, are incredibly intelligent people, and I think we wanted to make a movie that, I think apolitical is maybe the wrong word that I use, because it's, I think everything is political at the end of the day, but I think it presents it in a way that's disappointing for both sides. I think there's really, any takeaway you walk away with from the movie is not a wrong takeaway or a right takeaway. I think it just presents the characters as they are, and if you walk away and you're disappointed by them, well, that's totally valid, and if you love them, that's totally valid too. I don't think that we never went in with an intent to try and, preach any certain way. And that was definitely on purpose. So, and I think we've accomplished that given the amount of people that are kind of bickering with each other after the screenings. So that's nice.
All right, I'm Isley Gooden with the ABC affiliate, and this is Kayla, my co-anchor. So we have a show from 3 to 4, and we've been talking in the Cinema Society about this, and so tell our audience about the film itself.
Hardy boy, you want to jump into it?
Yeah, it's two people settling their differences in an old-fashioned way, and I would say it's not like a film that you've seen before. There's, I don't know, it feels to me like it's not your, it's not your typical type of story that, I don't want to give away too much.
I know, it's tough
hard
to do that. Let's just say it's best friends who end up having a falling out and deciding to settle their differences with an old-fashioned duel to the death. And it's all of the pitfalls related to following through on that plan.
Yeah, it's messy.
And then Hart, being from the Little Rock area, Conway, how does it feel coming back to your home and be able to present this project?
It's amazing. I mean, I love Arkansas so much. I moved to Los Angeles about 10 years ago, and I would say I come back probably once a month-ish on average. There's a span, sometimes like if I'm filming something or if I'm gone, it may stretch to 3 months, but it doesn't ever really go beyond that. I'm here all the time. My family still lives here, so I'm in Conway a lot. I want to bring more movies to Arkansas and film here because I love it. I'm obsessed with the heat here, so like at all times it just feels like home. Like when I walk outside and it's 120 degrees, I'm like this is it's a hug.
You're the only one.
I don't know why. I think I played outside so much as a kid here that there's something like jumping in lakes and rivers and ponds. Like there's something that feels so. I feel like Huckleberry Finn, I guess, to a degree, where it feels so good to be here. And but you do have seasons. I like when it's cold too, but gosh, this summer I'm obsessed with it. I love it.
It's hard to wear a blazer to a film festival in the sea.
Yeah. Have you been to Little Rock before?
Yeah, I actually came with the Dentons. I came with the Dentons down here. What's the barbecue place that we're going?
Right.
We're going to Right.
Yeah. That is good.
Didn't you say it's like now the number one
The one
barbecue
in
place?
Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, that's where I took
went.
you. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
the
it's,
burnt ends there were wild.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I've also filled your wardrobe with toad suck shirt.
Five different shirts on this, yeah.
And some more pig shirts. In there.
I know. Yeah, we got some too. I got some
Yeah.
of those. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know you guys alluded to last night, like working on future projects together, and I'm just curious if you have anything that you can share about anything upcoming.
Gosh, it's tough because I don't know what I can share without getting in trouble. I just I know, I will say we filmed this movie during COVID about 4 years ago in Indianapolis and Indiana in general. And we went back there for our premiere a few weeks ago, and we were looking for a little bit more investment to get kind of moving and shaking out there, and thankfully that happened. So I think we're looking to build a slate this next year and start to put together some movies, and not only ones that are utilizing the same team, both from the writing, directing standpoint, acting standpoint, but also just the crew. But also build a slate and start producing movies from people who we align with and whose scripts we like. So trying to kind of uplift that area in general and this area too. I mean, we're just trying to make some more movies for people. If they like the Duel, then I hope that they like our future ones, but I can't say anything firm just yet.
Yeah. I have a script based on Arkansas that I'm hoping that we're able to like get made. Yeah, it's all here, so it'd be awesome.
So Phil, my question is kind of for you. I see you're attached to this film not only as an actor, but as a producer. First, congratulations on the screening last night.
Thank you.
On the turnout and on the film. So what's it been like transitioning into that producer role? I mean, you kind of talked about a little bit of it there, but is this the first film you've produced? And what do you think, what's the difference, working as an actor and a producer?
It's the first film I've executive produced. I mean, I think when you're an actor, you live in a very like temporal place in the process of making a movie, and it's very much on set, obviously. And today's you have to go into ADR. But this was for me a little bit of an effort to try and live throughout the pre and post production cycle as well, and try my hand at that. I can say confidently, I don't think I would have taken on this responsibility if it weren't for the fact that I'm surrounded by people that I love doing it similarly. I'm surrounded by my friends and who I would call family in this movie. So it hasn't been a bad translation. I didn't want to do the whole actor to director cliche pipeline, because I feel like that's not only what I don't think I would be a good director. I just think that's a little overtuned, and I'm not personally skilled enough to do the whole fingers in every basket thing on set. So when we were filming, I told the team, I was like, I'm going to be very much an actor on set. I don't want to wear the producer hat, and then I wear the producer hat in every other respect in pre and post. But it's been nice. It's been nice trying my hand at something else. And man, I'm getting older. I'm 32 now. I gotta start looking around. The industry's not what it used to be.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It's changing.
Hey, he screamed at me a lot.
Yeah.
When you say that, I'm sorry, just to follow up. So the industry's not what it used to be. Getting a film like this made is really not easy anymore.
No,
how do y'all go about that? Making smaller films.
I'm definitely joking to a degree. It's changed, I think, in both for the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, with change, there's always blessings and curses. But no, it's nice. We've been really lucky to partner up with some very, very kind people, both in the pre and the post production cycle. I mean, Lionsgate, Grindstone grabbed us, and this Friday we release on digital, and Amazon's being very kind to us. I don't know what I'm allowed to say about that yet, but they're being very kind to us too. So there's a lot of belief behind this movie, and for first-time writers, directors, and executive producers, the amount of support's been overwhelming, and that's really nice. I think this movie struck a chord with a lot of people in a nice way, which is why I feel like the Variety article was a hit piece, Peter. We'll get around to him later. I think he's here. So I mean, for us, it's been overwhelmingly supportive, and that's been lovely. I think the industry's got to change to a degree. I think there's a lot of fatigue in some of the larger productions, and this is evidenced by the amount of people going to the movies. Right? I think you have people who really want to go to the movies. You have two camps. You have like the people who want to see something massive, which me too, by the way. I want to see the new Fast and Furious in theaters, right? Movies rock. Then there's the people who want to go to Alamo Draft House and see the art house stuff. And that's me as well. But anything in between there is kind of rough. And that's rough waters. And I think all the big boys at the top know that too. All the major studios, everybody knows that something needs to change around a little bit. And I think our movie is nicely primed in a place where they're starting to realize that. That was a very long answer. I'm sorry. I just started rambling away.
That's a good answer.
Hey guys, I'm Sarah Ann. I work with the Little Rock Daily, and it's a newer newsletter. We shine a bright light on Little Rock. We want to tell everyone how great it is, basically. So my question would be, and to our hometown hero, and you can answer it differently, of course, because you're not from here, but we'd love to hear something about our area. It could be Central Arkansas as a whole, but specifically Little Rock, it's okay. That resonates with you personally and professionally. And, or you can answer it like, what would you tell someone about Little Rock to make them come here? Like, what do you love about it?
It's delicate for me because I love it the way it is. So I don't want that many more people to come here.
Are you gatekeeping Little Rock?
No, it's like,
Big Rock now.
because I live between two cities. I live between Los Angeles and New York, and to have a place like Arkansas you don't feel like you have to try to be anything that you're not. It feels like you can be absolutely 100% yourself and at ease and at peace, and you're not judged, and you can take your time with conversation. It doesn't feel like people are in a rush to get somewhere else. And I love that about this place. And if more people come, just don't change that about this place, please, because there's something that feels like home, feels like family, no matter where you're at in Arkansas. And for me being somebody that has lived outside of it for a long time, anytime I hear, whether I'm in whatever city, that they're from Arkansas, immediately it's a bond and a connection where I go, oh, I know you, like immediately, and it's vice versa, and we probably have mutual friends or family or someone. My dad could be the governor of Arkansas. He knows everyone here, and it's just, I don't know. There's something about it that makes me feel. It feels like home. It'll always feel like home. And I feel like people that visit it from the outside that take time to see it, because it's all I talk about.
It is true.
I talk about it constantly.
I like when you do talk about Arkansas. If you go on like a long-winded sentence about Arkansas, by the end of it, his accent's fully there. And at the beginning, he starts a little professional with it. And he's like, "Yeah, baby, what's up?" I was like, "Okay, what's going on?"
Yeah, anytime I have a phone call with any family member that I have, it's just right after it, I'm back. Yeah.
Similarly, I've traveled over a lot of the United States for one and dones too. Growing up, I went all over the place, but I've been back to Arkansas quite a bit. And I think that speaks for itself. Very hospitable place, good food, fun. Everyone's very talkative, which I'm not used to. They like to chat. Which is nice. My dad's a chatty Cathy too. So it's very nice to be here. And I think through, almost I'm projecting it onto Hart, but through Hart, I have a lot of love for this place too. So, I'm here. I'm in Little Rock, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's an honorary Denton.
That's right. What's that big arcade we went to?
Mally's.
That thing's
Big
wild.
Conway,
That's
yeah.
the biggest arcade bar I've ever seen in the United States, in the middle of Arkansas. I was like, this should be in LA. What the heck?
No, you'll have enough.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to steal it.
Hello, I am Jamie. I'm with THB11. And for our Arkansan, what advice would you give to filmmakers in Arkansas?
Well, first I gotta interject. Was THV11, was that? Yeah, so the day I was born, I was on THV11. which is wild. We got to run that clip because I was born on Father's Day, and THV was doing a piece on different children being born in the hospitals on that day. So there's a video of my mom holding me, like talking about me in the bed of the hospital while I'm a day old.
You were like a fresh
like hours, yes, because it was on Father's Day and they were doing the piece on then, and I was born at like 6 a.m. You guys were doing your piece at like noon, so I was like,
wow.
And it says my name on the thing.
You've been acting for longer than I have.
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, it's just, this is a very cool moment because that's been a video, like we watch it all the time because it's so funny. But yeah, it's advice to filmmakers here is, Dylan and I both live in the neighborhood of Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
And we see him all the time, and it's always so crazy because we're such big fans of his. And my girlfriend went up to him and asked him on the street, hey, do you have any advice for filmmakers? And he had maybe the best answer possible, and he said, make films. And that's it. You just make them. You just do it. If you love it, you'll do it. And you find a way to make it work. And you'll fail, most likely, at certain areas. And you'll fix that for the next one, and you'll grow from it. And you just go from there. You tell stories, and you'll make movies. That's it. Just get out there and do it. Use your friends. I shot a movie in Arkansas with almost an entire crew of Arkansans, and it's probably the prettiest film I've ever shot. It was beautiful.
Wow.
It was well, and it helped. It was on film, so that helped a bit. But it was, and I loved everyone that I worked with. There's one point where I was supposed to fall off of a cliff in the movie, and I'm tied with a rope to a man that's like sitting on the ground holding me, and I trusted the man with my life, and he was an Arkansan. And I think
that's a good knot, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Yeah. It was
That was strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Just make films. That's use your friends, work with your friends, make short films. You don't need to go and make a huge feature right out of the gate. Make a 5-minute film of an idea that you have and submit it places and see where it goes from there.
Kind of similar platforming off of that. I will say that like we're sitting at a festival right now, right? We're sitting in this film society. They're so valuable. They're so valuable for young filmmakers in general, and also like regarding the festival circuit. When we were sending the Duel around, we were hearing about festivals I didn't know existed previously. Festivals are everywhere, and everyone wants you there, and everyone wants to talk to you about how you did it, and what's the next steps, and how they can help. This industry is immensely helpful to people. And I think everybody wants to see your film go places. And I think, to Hart's point, yes, just make it, get out there and try it, because you're not going to know how to do it before you do it. No one's going to have the keys. No one's going to be able to teach you all the secrets. So you do have to just do it. But then when you do it, look for the support net. It's actually everywhere. I mean, we're in this building alone, there's 400 talented people who want to see movies get made, and they want to see them around places. And so there's a big support net for filmmakers everywhere you go. So my advice would be is that, because I do see a lot of first-time directors and writers do this, where they're so fixated on making the product that they kind of detach a little bit from the post-production aspect of it, and the marketing and the sending it around. And so my biggest piece of advice would be that I know it's hard and you're tired as hell, but once the movie's ready, the job's not done until that sucker's out on digital. But during that time period, when you're trying to get it there, there's an immense amount of people who are looking to support you. So send it out.
And work begets work. One thing leads to the next.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, and you don't have to think like this short needs to win an Oscar, and if it doesn't, then it was a failure. Like it doesn't. you can do one thing, you meet somebody, you have a relationship. I mean, that's how this came about.
The Hundreds of Beavers guys too. That's
Yeah.
the same way. I mean, when you'll go to one festival,
Yeah.
and you'll find 2 people there who are like, I really align with whatever you're making, and then suddenly next project you're working together.
Yeah.
Hart and I have been friends for how long now?
6 years, 7 years.
God.
um,
And we started working together because of that.
Yeah.
We met at a New York thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
To your point, it begets work.
yeah, and the relationships will supersede everything. You'll continue to do more stuff, and it just one thing it leads to the next. Yeah. So just do that one thing, and keep hustling.
Okay, guys, we have about 5 minutes left.
Cool.
I guess we've circled back to me. So while I was watching the movie last night, another film kind of popped up into my head. 1971 Western called A Shooting with Kirk Douglas and Johnny Cash. And they kind of have a duel at sunset as well.
Cool.
Come on, see that tonight. But what that movie does, and what your movie does, is it balances the 2 main characters to make them equally as likable and dislikable. So how difficult was that to making it to not where the audience would cheer one character, your character over the other?
Yeah, we there was a moment where Colin was actually just unlikable because he was we were trying to figure out a way to make him more likable, and our writer-directors were excellent in the rewrite of it, in formulating a few scenes where he's actually in love with Abby, right? At first there was this moment where you could tell he was doing it almost out of like trauma for losing his father, and he was just trying to find human connection, but that was as deep as it went, and it just made him seem like an asshole. And so the actual him being in love with Abby did fuel a lot of the other scenes, and I think it was an excellent choice by our writers to change his character. And I feel like people align with that, even though the context is really gross for Colin throughout it. When he talks about it and he's when he's telling why it actually happened and how he's still in love with her, the later reveals get a little more heartbreaking, and it validates some of his actions, albeit it was emotional, but it does validate him to some people. I think though the fun nature of a dueling movie is that I think people do choose sides when they walk in the room. Like we've done a few little like press stuff through Lionsgate that just does the Team Woody, Team Colin thing. And even like Hart and Denny's characters in it, they have very clear sides that they've chosen, right? That's the fun of the movie. Little conversation piece. So I actually think that even if it's a little unequal, it's fun. At first you're kind of rooting very much for Woody, and then there's a moment where he's talking about how he'd burn it again. And you're kind of like, ooh. No one in this movie is good. It's like no one's a good guy. Everyone's a little distasteful. It's a morally gray movie, which is kind of fun. So
It's kind of like the Shooting, so I would check that out.
I've got to watch that. That's crazy.
Definitely.
I didn't know that exists. Johnny Cash?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, we gotta check.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I was just going to ask you to expand a little bit more on your friendship and why it's important. I know y'all touched on your friendship a lot, but why it's important to work together on a film and have that friendship as well.
Do you remember that we're friends, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right,
Wait.
yeah,
What?
Yeah. I will say that this is probably the person I've spent more time around than any other friend that I have in the past 7 years. So it's gone to a place, I would say even beyond friendship, where it's crossed into like a very brotherly.
He bickers with me all the time. It drives me crazy.
We do. And I was watching, the other day I was watching a clip of Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson talking about the fight scene that they had in True Detective. where it's like one has slept with the other's wife, and there's all this stuff, and they're fighting out in the parking lot. And watching those two guys chat about that scene where they're like going at it with each other, but being immensely close, like brothers.
Yeah.
But during that time, one of them says like, "You were punching me." Like, as
really hitting.
Yeah, you weren't hitting my character. Like in the thing, you actually wanted to connect with me a little bit. And Woody, I think, was like, "Yeah, no, I did. I was, I wanted to strangle you sometimes." And I resonated with that because
we can take this outside.
no, because I feel like you want to strangle me sometimes because I'm a very particular person, but.
I mean, you didn't even have 4 hours on you before you were on camera, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all I've done, I'm always under this microscope. No, I really think it's the best experience I've ever had in my entire life. I had gone into projects before, maybe knowing somebody, maybe being, acquaintances, but not being super close. And we shot this in a very peculiar way where it was in COVID and we couldn't leave our house unless it was going to set or to location to shoot. So the four of us, me, Dylan, Denny, and Callan, all lived on this like property that we got really close. Like we were friends before, but during this time, seeing each other every day for 6 weeks straight, you get way closer. And I'm close with all the boys, as you are as well, but us having a friendship before that, I think that was like the catalyst of moving us into this like brotherly place where, it was the best thing ever for me to do this project, and I want to do a bunch more.
I would say on the brotherly aspect, I didn't really have a choice. I didn't realize upon living with you, this guy wears a shirt 20% of the time. I think he's virtually naked 80% of your day. Good thing there's wardrobe on set. So I didn't really have a choice. I know every one of this dude's tattoos by heart. I think also being like good friends, and this is kind of, this was the effort a little bit of our company too, is that when you're good friends with the people that you work with, which I think is the dream of everybody who really starts into the industry, I want to make movies with my friends, but then, life happens, takes you to places. When you make movies with people that you genuinely like, you have a shorthand for everything, right? Whether it's from the crew perspective, cast perspective, every perspective, there's a shorthand for everything. And, I think as actors, we talk a lot about like the chemistry of it all. First off, as an aside, chemistry should not be hard. I think people think about this all the time. Oh, they have good chemistry. Yeah, you should just be nice to each other. Weird. But when you do actually have a friendship chemistry, brother chemistry with people on set, to the point of what you were saying about McConaughey and Harrelson, like when you're friends, even the anger looks better. The sadness looks better. All the emotions you're trying to channel in a scene look better because you're just more comfortable. And if we're trying to get to the heart of what like acting is in general, you're trying to channel those real emotions and make them look as real as possible, unless you're doing a theater play. But in that respect, everything just gets easier to do. And so that's why I think like this movie is really special for me, is because I look on screen and it feels really easy for everybody when I'm watching. It looks like they got there very easy. I got great advice by this lovely actor named Ron Rifkin that I worked with a while ago. And he's an older gentleman, and he told me he was talking in this scene, and he walks up to the director. He has this big crying scene, and he goes, "He's like, I don't know about this scene." And the director's, "Well, what do you mean?" And he's like, the dialogue doesn't get me there. And so I asked him afterwards, I was like, what did you mean by get you there? Because I think I know what you mean, but he's like, don't ever go into a scene where you feel like the script or the dialogue or the people that you're working with aren't getting you to the place of the emotion that you have to be, because it'll never look right on screen, and people will sense it. It's like a smell. Anyone can watch a movie and they're like, that doesn't feel right to me. They just know it. And so he said, workshop a script with the people that you are working with until it gets you there. And I've taken that advice to heart since I heard it. Not too hard, but to heart.
No, he gives me a lot of advice. He's like, listen, this is how you do it.
This is how you eat in a scene. So working with someone like Hart makes it really easy to get there.
And you have so much real experience and we've had a lot of emotions outside of the film that we're able to pull on in the film because we've had real life experience in that. And I'll also say there's a lot of films, and I know you can attest to this, that it's like a little death at the end of it because everybody goes their separate ways, and you may not see that person for a lot of those people for years and years and years. But when we finished this, we were like, no, that felt like we want to do that a lot. That felt really good with these people, and we all got more stories to tell, and we'll bring in different people and utilize different places. But the feeling, I think, is something that, we want to continue to have within the same.
Built a war band.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah.